friends, I'm here in my cozy reading corner, and I am so glad you're joining me here in the Happy Place to Grow as we have been doing lots of stories. Jan, Brett, we've read some fun gingerbread stories, and most recently we have been exploring this character, Hedgie. And you know, Jan actually had a hedgehog living at her house, so she knows all about these cute little characters. I loved Hedgie in the story, The Hat. He displayed such confidence, and it was definitely a cute story. And then our most recent time together, Hedgie Loves to Read was a short and sweet and thoughtful book about cozying up and thinking about which book you can read, because reading is such an adventure. We also dived in together, and I'm glad you joined me for our little artistic journey as Jan was taking us step by step how to draw a hedgehog, and we learned that we could adapt those drawing steps to our skill level, and I found it very helpful that you joined me and we worked together, and we didn't get discouraged if we had to redo. A couple times I had to do a redo, and I was okay with that. That was really fun. Today we are going to meet up with Hedgie again in Hedgie's surprise. This character Hedgie has a surprise for this hen, and it looks like, although Jan likes to write a lot of her stories with a wintry theme, in a wintry cold place, this one looks like it takes place in the spring. Those beautiful, bright, yellowy orange marigolds popping out. It definitely makes me think of spring. What do you think might happen today in Hedgie's surprise? I know, oh, wait a minute. There's a little peekaboo right there. Ooh, looks like somebody's spying on these two. Ooh, this is, I think it's going to be a really interesting, fun book. So find a good reading spot with me, and let's venture as this story takes place on a farm and find out what Hedgie's surprise is. It's definitely taking place on a farm. This is a hen house, cute little hen house. And at the beginning of the story, you know how Jan is famous for her peekaboo windows. She starts off the story with the sides of a cross-stitch embroidery, which is done with it's a needle point with a needle and some beautiful yarn, and you make a design. And at the top, her dedication is for Michelle. That's creative. We can see right off the bat that on this page, which just tells us about her book, gives us information. Looks like a grandma character or a mom. A little guy right here and a cat. You think this is who was peeking in the bushes on the cover? And here's one of the characters, Henny, in the hen house. Once there was a speckled hen who laid an egg every day. Well, that makes sense. Oh, only to have it taken by a little Tomten every morning. I guess this is a little Tomten, I'm figuring. Now, I did look up what a Tomten was because I'd never heard that. Sort of looked like a little gnome to me. It's the Swedish version. Sweden is a land far away of sort of a gnome, a bossy little character. It all started because the Tomten got tired of porridge for breakfast. Have you ever had something so many times at breakfast, lunch, or dinner that you're just bored with it? Tomten was bored. Now, a porridge is sort of like an oatmeal. It's a grainy breakfast dish that has milk and honey or sugar. Hey, sounds good to me, but if you have it every day, you might get bored. I don't think it's ever a good idea to go steal someone's eggs. As we continue, We've got our peekaboo windows over to the side. There is a rooster, and up above is the cross stitch of Hedgie. And then over here, you've got Hedgie peeking under the bush. Let's see what happens next. Oh, beautiful barn with a thatched roof, which was the way they used to create a roof with hay. They would take a hot iron and kind of pat it down so it would be really tight. And there is Tomten sneaking in the hen house. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Each morning, the rooster crowed as the sun came up, and Henny, which is the little speckled hen, knew that Tomten was on his way. So did the little hedgehog who lived nearby. The Tomten always called out to her, "Henny, have you got a little yummy for my hungry, hungry tummy?" I guess kind of like a teasing way. Oh, it makes me sad for Henny. Ooh. And there's the Tomten running off with the egg. Definitely looks like a little mischievous character. What do you think? We've got over here, peekaboo window, Hedgie. And it looks like to me, Hedgie's got like a smile or a thoughtful face, like he's not happy with the situation, but he's gonna, no, it's not a smile. It's kind of a frown, actually. At first glance, it looks sort of like a little smile. Henny's coming out. I'm sure very sad because if we eat eggs, but when the hen sits on them, then they'll hatch and become a baby chick, and I'm sure Henny wants some babies. Ah, the Tomten climbed into the hen house, took Henny's warm, smooth egg, and ran off to cook it in his little kettle. Sprinkle it with salt and gobble it down. And then he fell fast asleep in the hayloft until evening. There's his little pot. It was a pattern every single day. I think you'd get bored getting the eggs if you got bored with the porridge. All right, let's see what happens next. We've got on this side, Henny. Your peekaboo window is Hedgie, again, thoughtfully hidden in the bushes. It looks like maybe a river or a little pond. There's a geese and her little goslings, or a duck and her little ducklings. And then there's Tomten fast asleep. I guess you do that when you have a full belly. Henny didn't like Tomten taking her eggs, but she put up with it until one morning she saw Goosey sail forth, smiling and bowing, with a stream of piping goslings following her. So a goose and her goslings, those are baby geese. And so basically Henny was just dealing with it until she saw another mama with her babies, who made her feel really sad because she wanted children too. I think this is where Hedgie's going to come in with some help. Next page. We've got Hedgie. I love the little embroidered hearts. There's the goose and her goslings coming up out of the pond. And there's Tomten with that mischievous look. Ah. Oh my, Henny clucked. Where did you get all those little ones? Where did they come from? My eggs are hatching. You know, birds lay eggs in the spring, and so that's when their babies hatch, for sure. My eggs are hatching, crooned Goosey. Here comes the last one now. From that moment on, Henny wanted a brood of peeping chicks of her own. But how could she stop the Tomten from taking her eggs? She couldn't have those babies unless she could stop Tomten. What do you think? Do you think Hedgie's going to come in with some help? I wonder how. This is getting interesting. Here's the next page, next day probably. There's Goosey and her goslings. Looks like she's making a squawk there. There's Henny, definitely. Looks like a commotion. The feathers, you can see the little feather details. The feathers are flying up. Maybe instead of taking the situation as she always does and just letting Tomten steal the egg, she's going to put up a commotion. Let's see what happens. The next morning, when Tomten poked his head in, Henny tried. She clucked loudly, and she pecked at him. She flew at him, but nothing stopped that hungry Tomten from taking her egg again. And you can definitely see that mischievous, looking face. He's determined. She tried her best, but it didn't deter him. There's Hedgie. Where's he going? Wonder what he's doing. He's definitely up to something, don't you think? He's got to have the surprise somewhere. Next page. Her nest is empty. There's lots of hearts. She loves the thought of having a family. There she is sitting outside an old bucket of some kind. There's Hedgie. They're going to have a conversation. And then Tomten is asleep in the barn. No eggs, no chicks, no peeping babies. Oh, Henny wailed so loudly that she woke up the little hedgehog, her tears pouring down on top of them. Puffa, puffa, stick a stick, Hedgie went as he crawled out to talk to her. Remember, he was in there. And she was crying and carrying on. He came out to see what was the matter. Poor Henny, I've been watching the Tomten take your eggs. I'll help you trick him into stopping. Definitely a friend. Let's see how he does it. Ooh. This little peekaboo window shows Hedgie at night. There's the moon. It's dark. Looks like some embroidered clue acorns. And there's the scene unfolding. The next morning, when the rooster crowed, cock-a-doodle-doo, there was the Tomten, as usual. Henny, have you got a little yummy for my nearly empty tummy? Henny and Hedgie were ready. The Tomten reached for an egg, but instead he pulled out an acorn. Said the Tomten, what's this? And off he went to try it. The acorn was tasty, but it didn't fill him up, and he awoke in the middle of the afternoon grumpy. So he was going to try out the acorn, at least. But in the middle of the afternoon, look at that hair sticking up. He was in a mood. You know, sometimes when I get hungry, I am in a hangry mood. Are you? Let's see what happens next. I think Tomten's going to come back, and he's going to be even more mad and more determined. Looks like the embroidery is a strawberry. And there's Hedgie. It's on his back. So the acorn didn't fill up Tomten, so now we'll try a strawberry. Do you think that'll work? The next time the Tomten arrived looking for an egg, he found a bright red strawberry. It looked bigger than the acorn, so he ran off to cook it. The strawberry was jammy and sweet, but it only filled him up. It only filled the Tomten up a little more than the acorn had. He woke up early, and you know he was probably in a mood too. Here he is cooking on his little pot, making a jam, and he comes down from his nap session early. He's not filled up yet. Oh, it is nighttime in the little secret window. Hedgie has got something. Oh, the embroidery shows mushrooms. Do you like mushrooms? I love them. Some people like them, some people don't. I definitely like mushrooms. Wonder if the Tomten will. Here he comes. Back to the old hen house, grabs the mushroom, runs off. He's smiling. I think this is getting to be sort of an adventure for him. What will be in there next? It's definitely a surprise. The sun had just come up when the Tomten was at the hen house again. His stomach was roaring with hunger. That sounds like he's very hungry. Pushing Henny aside, he grabbed for an egg, only to find a delicious smelling mushroom. He raced off to cook it, and as scrumptious, that means it was very delicious, as it was, he woke up with his little tummy growling for more. Maybe if he puts all three of those things together, that would work. So there he is, sneaking off with the mushroom. There's Henny and Hedgie discussing what they will do next, because they know he's going to come back for more. He's just never satisfied, this little Tomten. It's nighttime again. Look what's up Hedgie's sleeve. What does that look like? Looks like maybe a potato, although above it, the embroidered stitchery shows Henny sort of in a pot. Oh no. And we've got Tomten. He's licking his lips. He is so hungry. He is ready for something delicious. Cock-a-doodle-doo! The Tomten rushed in even before the rooster finished crowing. He's really hungry. Henny, have you got something for my hollow tummy? That's very empty. Hollow is empty. This time he found a smooth, round potato. That should fill him up for sure. Even bigger than an egg. He cooked it quickly, swallowed it down, and went back to his hayloft. He woke up at sunset. That's almost nighttime. Only half full. The Tomten had had enough. He was done exploring. He was done trying new things. Every time he kept waking hungry, he was done. He was marching back in that hen house. Oh boy, this could be a situation. Henny, he shouted, tomorrow I want an egg for breakfast and nothing else. If I don't find one, I'll eat you up instead. Oh, that's why. Henny's in a pot. Oh no, he's threatening Henny. Yikes. This is going to take a final action by Hedgie. Let's find out what he does. I'll whisper in Henny's ear. Don't know what he's saying. Oh, this is hilarious. Look. You know what Tomten's going to pull out? A Hedgie hedgehog. Oh. I can just imagine. This is going to be the best trick ever. And he definitely deserves it, don't you think? Henny was scared. The Tomten had been tricked by an acorn, a strawberry, a mushroom, and a potato. How could they fool him again? Don't worry, Henny, Hedgie told her. Now it's time for my surprise. This is going to be a painful, prickly one for sure. It's going to be my favorite. How about you? He whispered in her ear. All night Henny waited on her nest and Hedgie on his. As soon as it began to get light, Hedgie gently covered his nest with straw and got ready for a surprise. And here comes Tomten. Hello, you're going to be surprised. And not in a good way. At least for you. Henny and Hedgie could hear the Tomten's stomach rumbling like thunder a mile away. He burst into the hen house. He pushed Henny aside and he grabbed. You know what he grabbed? Ouch, 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 ouch. Ow, he howled. Ow, ow. Puffa, puffa, stick a stick. He had clutched Hedgie, all closed up in a tight round ball of needle-sharp prickles. And you can see that face right there. Ooh, he is definitely feeling the pain. I hate that he had to get prickled, but I think he's going to learn his lesson. What do you think? Definitely. It's not okay to take someone's things. They don't belong to you. So sometimes you got to learn the lesson the hard way. Let's find out what happens next. I think I see maybe something going on in that nest. Let's see what happens. Because you know she wanted a family. There's the peekaboo window. We've got feathers flying everywhere. We've got the Tomten looking at his hands, feeling like horrified. You know, when you touch something sharp, it's painful. He runs back to mom or grandma for a hug. You know, when I'm hurting, I definitely go back to someone I love. But look at the friends. They have accomplished what they needed to. And Henny, I think, is going to get her family. I hope. Henny and Hedgie listened as Tomten ran home, yowling. That's like, ow, 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 ow. Thank you, Hedgie, Henny said, looking at her dear friend. I'm sure that Tomten won't be back here again for breakfast. But what I can't figure out is, where have you hidden my eggs? So she had laid eggs in the night, and Hedgie had hidden them and took their place under her nest. Wonder where the eggs are. Oh, that is so precious. Look. Definitely a family at last. Mother or grandmother is there to comfort Tomten. He's got feelings too, you know. I guess we have to think about his feelings. He was just trying to get some breakfast. Mother's going to fix that, or grandmother's going to fix that delicious porridge. Back to the porridge. He's definitely satisfied now. I think he's learned a lesson. You know, sometimes what you have at home is enough. Enjoy. It's good to explore other eating options, but sometimes what you have is definitely delicious. Appreciate it. Just then, Henny heard a little peep, 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 then another. Coming from Hedgie's nest, she looked over and saw the straw began to move. 5 baby chicks peeked out of their shells and fluffed up their down as Henny settled down with her babies nestled around her. The Tomten's mother was in the hayloft making breakfast for her hungry Tomten, as she did every morning, as good mothers do. Oh, look, a happy ending. She got her babies. Tomten got his belly full. All is well. Hedgie, 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 you are full of surprises, Henny cried, as she led her baby chicks into the sunshine. But little Tomten didn't hear a word. He was sound asleep, his tummy full of tasty porridge. Hey, he should have stuck with the porridge anyway, because it always filled him up, and he always got enough sleep and felt good, you know? Oh, I'm so glad that Hedgie was able to help Henny, and Henny got her family. Everybody's happy. Tomten's happy. Mother's happy because she gets to fix her little Tomten some porridge. Hedgie helped his friend and go back to his little barrel and sleep. And Henny has her beautiful family. And I don't think Tomten's going to be back anytime soon. Well, how cute was that? Did you like Hedgie's surprise? It was definitely a surprise, for sure, for the Tomten. Well, I have enjoyed lots of cute stories about Hedgie with you. It's been really fun. But now we're going to go back and we're going to explore some new stories. I want to go back and I'm searching for my next story adventure with you. I want to go back to maybe some cold places. Jan's got a few cold stories I want to explore with you. And so I hope that you will join me again. I've got a cute one called 3 Snow Bears. I'm looking for it. Oh, there it is, hiding. It's hiding in Hedgie's nest. The 3 Snow Bears is going to be our next story adventure. I'm going to take us back in time for a couple snowy stories and thought this might be good too. Who's Knocking on Christmas Eve? These are a couple more snowy adventures. And then we're going to sneak off into some hot stories. I've got 2 from different lands that I think will be fun adventures. So join me for the 3 Snow Bears. Sounds like the 3 Bears, and it is Jan Brett's version of the 3 Bears. It's going to take place in a cold, snowy Alaska. It's going to be a good one. I can't wait for us to cuddle up to this snowy fairy tale adventure. All right, readers, let's get together real soon. I can't wait. And as always, have a good one.